Checkity check check, chickity check check check. Hey, alternate VFAX. So I figure we'll just start playing Dark Deity 2 a little bit. I'm gonna let that dev know that we're streaming it now. This is not Symphony of War 2. This is Dark Deity 2. I just wanna, they have a demo out now. Their dev's been pretty cool with me, and you know, I just want to kind of check it out. I think I'll do a little bit more informing of my socials as to that we're live. Okay. Can y'all hear me okay? How's my volume? Oh, sorry. Well, you know, okay, just have both on. Just have your do you have dual monitors? Just put one on one and one on the other. All right. New game. Mortal, a mode for those unfamiliar with strategy RPGs. Okay. Hero and Deity. Hero, a mode for those who have played strategy RPGs in the past and enjoy a challenge. The intended setting. Right. The intended setting. Okay, so I can already see, you know, a little bit of a design crossover here. That's how we approach things a little bit. There's a quote-unquote intended... I don't know if I would call it intended because, like... I know what he means by intended, though. He means, like, optimized, right? The setting that was painstakingly calibrated to a good natural playthrough, right? Whereas those who are masochistic just really want to bang their head against the wall, they can hop on Deity. Why is my little icon not showing? Because my camera's not working, so I downloaded my little... Oh, there it is. Okay, there's me on the bottom right corner. Okay. I guess if you delete it from your desktop, then it just goes away. Good to know. Curse of Ant Fire. The intended setting is a pitfall Space Marine 2 fell into as it ended up downscaled to everyone being confused about it being so difficult. Sure, it is a tough balancing act. So we're going to go with Hero.
Man, are you sure this is the right place?
Hey, fully voiced cutscenes.
Yeah, the map didn't say anything about this many stairs.
This is the only ancient ruin around these parts. Besides, I recognize the stairway. This is definitely...
I know, I'm just...
So I don't mean to be disrespectful to the wonderful voice actors. I just want to get to the gameplay.
Be older than 100 years.
Hey Milo, we're just doing Dark Deity 2's demo here for just a little bit.
Hey kid, you're a local. Anything you can tell us about this place?
Why didn't my...
Well,
Oh, okay.
just that there's not that many stairs left.
All right.
Other than that, not much. Before I marked it, it wasn't even on the map.
You know, this Saxon guy looks a lot like a story character in Symphony of War 2.
Unless they did, and somebody wants it forgotten.
Forgotten? Why would somebody want that?
Uncomfortable secrets?
Gwen's voice actor is really good.
Come on, Reardon, don't scare the kids.
There's no way you guys are old enough.
Well, a little fear might do you all some good. We still don't know what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, Mr. Pirate. Yeah, he looks a lot like Mr. Pirate
Worry less.
from Symphony of War 2 for sure. It's interesting how Chip and I both authored characters for our sequel games. They're very thematically similar.
Speaking of, looks like we found the bottom.
Yeah, Milo. I mean, that happens in our game too. It just doesn't happen for a really, really long time. So it's like,
This place is roomy.
it's really quick, so it's easy
Just as
to
amazing
miss.
the second time around.
These two have let routine rough.
You see,
I can't even.
The adventure of a lifetime, twice.
You know,
weekly.
one thing I would
When
say
Dad lets us off the leash, then.
is it seems like
let him whine.
maybe it's just me,
Cranky today.
but I don't know if you guys noticed. There's a little bit of pixel shearing happening with the sprites.
Watch by the stairway, all right? If you hear
You know,
shouting,
it might just be
find
me.
us.
I have no idea. Somebody with a better artist's eye can like, maybe not. Maybe I'm just imagining
Come
things.
find you.
Or maybe I'm doing something weird with the resolution. I'm not sure. I turned it off of full screen mode so I could
What do you
stream.
think, Arthur? A shrine? Sacrificial altar?
Yeah. So like when you have a size interpolation of pixel sprites, it doesn't go well unless you do a half or a double.
I think so.
I mean,
Then it looks fine.
can't you feel it?
But if you do anything but a doubling or a halving, it doesn't look
You
good.
can?
Yeah, it's probably the resolution. I don't know. I would suggest they look at this because I think
An addict.
because I know this pixel artist is
Well, you certainly know Mage.
really really
Having
good.
magical blood would explain how
you
you
know
found
we're
this
actually
place, but
so yeah
why?
I guess I'll just keep going here.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
weird. Hey, kid.
Right.
Black abyss. I knew it was.
All right. Hey, right into the gameplay. I like it.
None.
Cool.
Well, we're.
I think.
Here. I spotted something.
You're here, so you did perfect.
Yeah. So those are hanging out here. I'll do maybe like 10 minutes of Dark Deity 2, and then we'll get into some
Power requires
Symphony of War
skill.
dev talk
Can't
here.
just-
We don't have time for this. Fight or hide.
Got it.
You know, if you guys come across something that you like or dislike, just let's talk about it. Okay, we're first steps: escape, win, escape, lose, turn. Okay, so Gwen is our hero. Side objective: spend mana. So they have mana on the first. Oh, I guess these characters just have mana like RPG characters. Sword rune. Okay, cool. You know what? I like how this is done. This is done a little bit more descriptively than Symphony of War 1. The side challenges, it's a little bit more explicit, and it shows like sword rune, whatever that is, gold, blah blah blah. It's very clear what to do here. So I like that. Okay. Gameplay. Welcome to Dark Deity. Gameplay is handled in phases. You get a turn. Enemies get a turn. Yep. Attacking. Damage. Yeah. Try weakening enemies with range attacks. Yep. Clicking. While selecting. Right on. When selecting enemy attack or preview combat, if you want to view this tutorial again, sure. All right. So let's just kind of get a feel for. Okay, so WASD does work just fine. Looks great. We've got. I would like some kind of info box to pop. Oh, there it is. Never mind. It's in the bottom right. Never mind. It has a Sow2 preview. Which one? Oh, this thing? Oh, yeah. No, that looks pretty good. Ours is in the top middle or the top left, wherever. Oh yeah, that looks fine. I mean, to be fair, we lifted it directly from Fire Emblem, so. Okay. Alright, so one thing I would say, and this is probably like one of those things that's too late to pivot on, is I would probably scale down the first chapter. Just so we can teach one thing at a time. So we've got 5 hero characters and a whole bunch of animals here. We've got wildlife. Okay. Reardon is a hunter, a bowhunter. Oh, hey, cool. You know, you click on something and you get a tutorial. I like it. That's good. We'll put him here. Attack. Wait, abilities. Command wolf. Oh, how about I just do this?
Let's let loose.
You know, Reardon sounds like me. No, I did not voice this guy. All right, abilities. Command wolf. What? Unit abilities. Attack with your pet. Dealing 6... Oh, I don't have a wolf yet. Okay.
I'm there.
We'll attack this one then. Sorry, buddy. So we have a little preview. What do you guys think of the little floating boxes there? Instead of a whole battlefield, like you have like a shaman. Da, 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 da. Okay, Saxon, magic user. Okay.
Time to ride.
Time to ride. Looks like I'm going to... Yeah, if you're going to kill something, there should be some kind of flashing indicator there. Like... Okay, let's watch this. Oh! Cool. Punch. Not every day you get to punch a wolf to death. Alright, Gwen, I'm going to just start... Cassandra is... Attack... Oh, wait. Is this a ranged user? No, it's not. Arthur is a healer, maybe? Okay. It's a... Okay, cool. Oh, this is like a... Wow, I love that animation. And she's got abs.
Not bad.
Hey, cool! Not bad. Gwen is a vanguard, tanky, friendly, tank, excelling. Okay, cool. The tank, the melee tank. Okay, we'll just go like this. And finish this bear. Boom! Oh my gosh, my daughter's going crazy. What was that?
I'll do it.
Okay. Oh, he's a summoner. Okay, so yeah, my patience for reading is like 0. Okay, so we're just gonna use our... Oh, we're just looking at Dark Deity 2's demo here. No, I don't read anything ever. Uh-oh. Ah! Okay, we almost got him. Units all have spread abilities that increases it. Every turn, unit gains 20 mana. Units start with chapter 100. Mana does not conserve between missions, so make it... Okay, use it or lose it. Cassandra has a healing ability. Support, like healing. Okay. Where's Cassandra? Okay,
Alrighty.
so we're gonna heal. Abilities. Healing touch.
Let
Boom.
me know.
I would hardly consider Chips. I don't know. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Scoping out the competition. Oh, Milo. He's so sassy. Okay, who should get this kill? I'm gonna say because Gwen is the hero avatar, not the hero avatar, but like the main character. I'm just gonna assume Gwen is on every chapter and is gonna need... Now see, what was that? What was that? I wish I could drill down on what the heck just happened. Lightly blocking, damage taken increase. Okay. Reduce 10 by 10. Okay. Okay, Okay, we're gonna go like this. I wonder if I sit here. Oh, I'm in range of that, so I'm gonna sit here. Okay.
Okie dokie. Yep, yep.
Oh, just wait. Okay. We'll go like this. All right. Just a couple more turns here, I think, and then we'll get into sow2. Yep. Wow, that's 0 damage. Whoa. I wonder if this tree has like punching resistance. Every time I've ever punched a tree, it doesn't go. It works so well for me.
Looks like this place is coming
Look, this place is coming down around us. We're running out of time. Move on.
Get a move.
Oh, cool. So there's hazards like right on the first chapter. I like it. Very obvious hazards too. Okay.
Okie dokie.
We'll go. No, that's the healer.
do
This
it.
is the mage. Attack. Boom. All right, attack him. Okay. We're just gonna keep feeding our hero tank, Gwen. Boom. All right. Man, his animations are freaking good. All right. Unpunchable. Oh yeah. God, I wish my, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm a real-life archery enthusiast. Ever since COVID happened, I really stopped doing it. Because I used to have a group of really old guys that I would go down to the local bow hunting range. And it's kind of like a game of golf. You have, like, holes, but they're not holes. They're just, like, target bags that are shaped like animals. And you just go and, shoot, pick up your arrow, go to the next one, shoot. Anyway, anytime I've ever hit a tree, I don't kill it. So, anyway, Gwen can stack 10x blocking. Oh, I don't know. I do think it's a good thing. I agree with the decision to put these obstacles on the first chapter and have it like super obvious indicators. Especially if that's going to be like a regular part of the gameplay. Because it's really not that big a deal even on the first chapter. Like, it's not that hard to learn. So we'll do this again. Dead. Okay, cool. Right.
Stay together.
Stay together. All right. I'm gonna just get in range of
Right.
this. Wait. Where was my? Why didn't I get the? Oh, did I stand in the? Oops. I feel like that should do more damage. I just wasn't paying attention. Completely my fault. That was not the game's fault.
I can do this.
I can do this. Abilities. Okay, we'll just.
Okie dokie.
Healing touch.
Let me help.
Yeah, we'll heal up that little pebble that landed on your head there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Avalanches. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, it's about 5:50 here. Thanks, Chip, if you're watching. Thanks for letting us play your demo. Very cool. I'm going to find a spot in Symphony of War 2 that I can just kind of look at here. Ugh. I have an itch in my scapula. It's hard to reach. So let's think about what we want to talk about here. What if I just close the game? Okay, it goes black. All right, hold on a second. I'm gonna fire up Symphony of War 2 here in just a sec. Oh yeah, the sky's the limit on cool stuff we can do. Here, let's do this. I'm just gonna have a cutscene background here. Not show the cutscene, but what the I just got a class trees crash. Oh man. Script 285, the uninitialized constant, class trees, CPX2 to upgrade. Well, I think the man who can fix this is in the chat, is in the... Hold on. Okay, Mithrin's fixing a bug as we speak, so I can actually just load up the game. Yeah, okay, I mean, we can talk about hazards, sure. We do have a subject in mind, but yeah, FAQ, or not FAQ, but, you know, AMA, that's what we're doing. So while we wait for that fix, we can talk about hazards a little bit. In the first game, we had the Volcano chapter. By the way, who all is in here? We had a decent group. We had the Volcano chapter, where basically there was, like, if you walked on any of those fire spots, you would get damaged pretty significantly. And they were placed in a way that kind of forced you to think strategically about that level. You know, but they were static. In this game, we have, I think, an expanded potential for traps and hazards, especially because you didn't get an S rank that was the real damage. Oh, okay, you just have to, that was one of the, I forgot that was one of the challenge missions to avoid a hazard. So we have ships in this game, and so, you know, you can imagine a storm or a whirlpool would be an obvious hazard for ships, right? And so you can have storm tiles that move each turn, basically, right? Yeah. Not sure how much we want to do stuff like that, but like, where it's like traps, that's an entirely new, I don't know, I mean, we could, because we do have like area effect things on the map, like Beatrix's spell, meteor spell. Yeah. MD Yomi says, oh, and fog wars and snowstorms like Advance Wars. Ooh, fog. That's a tough one, right? Curse of Vampire. Possible that flying units cannot fly over mountain centers, though if this is done, they'd have to be doubly affected by storms rather than being above them. Will there be any god spells that create hazards and traps? There will be god spells, so to speak. We want to bring that mechanic in earlier. Don't know about creating hazards and traps, but, you know, perhaps. First time shot from Slycoop25. Oh, you mean having certain powerful magic going off, causing some tiles to become hostile to either player or enemies alike. Yeah, I mean, if you have like Skyrim style, where you have like runes that no friend or foe, or you can just have hazards to anything that goes in there, right? So, okay, we got our fix here. Let me just slap that into the game so I can get a nice background going for us. Maybe even have fog just as only as effective in a Battlefleet, Gothic Armada, or Cosmoteer. Boom, okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to window capture. No, not that one. Maybe this one? Yeah, that's the one. Okay, yeah, so we're just watching our little cute little pirate city in a cave here while we talk. So, And again, I don't have a camera anymore. I don't know why. It's just not working. Like it did the whole old school TV thing where it like turned into weird diagonal red and green lines, and then it went black. And I guess I just need a new one. So it is kind of an old piece of shit. So whatever. Okay. Could lay a trap on captured territory that triggers when enemies try to take it. So we are going to have a mechanic for artillery. We are going to have a mechanic for artillery that forms a artillery field, basically, that if you walk into it, it'll shoot you while you're on your turn. So, like, it's kind of a trap, right? And then that expends that artillery's shot. So, you know, when we make that will probably be a good script base, you know, for moving over to something like other traps. But that's something we haven't really talked about, and we already have such a massive scope that I hazard, no pun intended, to add even more to it. But anyway. Let's see. Just dropped a message in Discord and realized you were talking the stream, right? Oh, and where everyone on the map dies. Ah, okay. Curse Vampire says, I should elaborate. Everything has a blip on the map unless it's an ambush, but only when it does a notable action or comes into range. Yeah, I'm sure it can be done well. We haven't even tried. But that's one of those pitfalls that, like, everyone thinks they can do well, and it always ends up being kind of a pain in the bee. I understand the design desire to do it, because then it opens up more things that you can do, like having a scouting ability, like a class that's good at scouting, stuff like that. And then maybe, like, you know, cats that can see through it, that sort of thing. But it's a tough one to make fun in the end. G Daymaster. Will there be some reoccurring enemy commanders, like how Lysander and Beatrix were enemies at one point, but they could remain loyal to the enemy and be consistent threats? I feel like that's kind of a story spoiler. But yeah, that sort of thing does exist as a possible thing that could happen, yeah. Good question. Pariah plays hell, yeah. Curse Vampire says only misdirected, but they require lots of time on the story and gameplay. First time chat from Python Product 314. Any news on what's coming up for arenas? I definitely like more defense-oriented arena and ones that allow for more than 5 squads. So it's a really good question, Python Product 314. And by the way, give us a follow if it's your first time chat here. So we have a series of concepts for quote unquote grind modes in, like, basically in the hopper, and I don't really want to, like, conclusively talk about them yet, but you know, try and picture things like a roguelike mode or a tower climb or alternative arena modes that don't involve the expenditure of arena coins. I think we're probably going to do away with the arena coin thing. And, you know, arena would be a thing that may not always be available, like, based on your location at the time, but it would depend more on just, like, other factors rather than how many coins you have. So we really want to make the ability to, I guess, chill out between missions a real thing. So you know, maybe some missions, like, you feel the story is kind of pushing you along, and that's totally fine. There's definitely some rest stops in the story where, like, we definitely want you to be able to just, like, okay, I made it to chapter whatever, let's, like, save the game, I'll come back, and then I'll do, like, my 18 zillion hours of army management and base management. No one is fired back up again, right? So we want that to be a real thing. You fire it back up again, you're like, oh, I made it to the new home base, cool. Okay, let's check out the market, let's check out the this, let's check out the expedition board, right? The job board. Let's check out the, does it have an arena? Cool, it does. Let's check out the blah, 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 right? So lots of things to do in your chill out time. That's going to be a thing. So in terms of like more defense oriented arena, yeah, I don't see why not. Like if some of these modes are more defense chapter oriented, more than 5 squads, sure. The reason I think 5 squads was a thing is because I think if it was more than that, it would kind of be exhausting. Like it was meant to be a small boost, a small thing that you can do in between chapters, where the chapter is the big thing, right? I personally, between 10 and 12 squads is when I start to get fatigued mentally and emotionally, and I'm like, okay, I don't want any more squads. So I think that seems to be around where the average player is, between 8 and 12 squads. Some people like 15, some people like 20. Depends. So that's a long answer to your question, but hopefully that cleared up a little bit. Well, maybe they'd rather die than defending and decide to join you. D. Valroth says, I will always need more squads. We'll have a special D. Valroth version that has 30. Okay, Carl Max says, enemy story characters that you face on multiple occasions would be cool. Oh yeah, that happens. That's not much of a spoiler. GD Master, yeah, yes or no would be nice, just to get a no spoiler rule. Oh. Yeah, sorry. Curse of Vampire, will the recurring commander constantly blasting off again? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's kind of lame, like when you keep killing a baddie and he never actually dies. I know what you mean. Yeah, GDMS. Oh no, I've been fatally wounded. I must retreat. Hubert from Fire Emblem 3 houses. Right, yeah. I gotcha. Or the Black Knight clones from Ogre Battle. MDME, it would be easier if you launched the game now with mod support so that people create the game for you Bethesda style. Oh yeah, what a great idea. We'll do that, and then we'll do paid early access 3 years in advance. And then we'll run out of money and be like, hey, we need another paid early access. Can you give another $300? There. And then all this time, you're doing the work, right? That's how you succeed. Let's check out General Trizen board. Okay, Storyteller VK, I would like the special version as well. Yeah, one thing we actually discussed in our last powwow was how many maximum squads are going to be in story mode. And man, y'all are crazy. A lot of we looked at a lot of your saves, and you actually do use the full 20 squads for the final chapter. I don't know. I mean, feedback on that, if it was only 15, would you be up in arms? One of the things I like to be cautious about in a sequel is just making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, because inevitably there will be new players or players that liked the size of the first game, and that's why they got into it. And so if you just keep inflating it, then you might turn off. You might have a sour experience. If you play the second game first, right? So, Pariah plays, I'd like to see some hidden, unique units that can be recruited from the enemy when you successfully force a surrender. Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. I like that. Not going to spoil it, but yeah, I like that idea. MD Yomi, we had a chance to surrender units to our side. The full 20, meanwhile me with 30 squads. 15 at a time. Right, 15 deployed in a chapter, right? Because, and this is not much of a spoiler, we've talked about this before, there will be things for your squads to do while not in the chapter. So you'll want to have more things around than just the active squads that you've got around. So, let's see. 20 squads are cool, but then for those spectacle big army versus fights. Yeah, but if you started on 20, you really need to ramp up to that. If you got to 20 squads by chapter 8, you would be like, this game is exhausting. I can't do it. I'm shutting it down, right? So, Devin says, I wouldn't be upset if 20 is still the cap, but it would probably feel limiting if capped at 12. Yeah, 12 is low. I don't think we're going to go that low. But one thing we will do is definitely make sure that the cap doesn't go back down. Like, I can't remember if the first game does that. If it goes like from 15 to 12, then back to 15. If it gets to 15, it's going to stay at 15 forever, right? So it's a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit, as the folks in the financial services annuity would call it. So Lurkermeyer says, Sal is really good at having split objectives, so even if you have 20 squads, it's more like groups of 5 or 10 different things. Oh yeah, we're going to do a lot more of that too. I love the split objective maps. People love those. Having all of your guys in one little spot can be exhausting, but definitely if they're split up, it really helps. So I agree with that. Sorry, Toby, you used the full 20 squads and had some backups. I think that 20 was a good max size, even for large battles, though I really like the idea of getting reinforcements in when a squad does get taken out, right? But 15 would be fine. Bigger and bigger Unicorn Overlord with at least 15 squads comprised of only named characters. Is there that many named characters in that game? Jeez. Lurkermeyer says, would we still have ways to go to base and rotate squads if needed? That's a fun thing to do. Of course, yeah. If you have a location available where you can, send somebody home, send somebody back out, absolutely, yeah. Carmax 8123. I think 20 is too much for the size of the maps, and in fact, your whole army is deployed in one big blob. If more maps had more spawn locations, yeah, kind of what we just talked about, where if it's all in one big blob, it is like it's a big traffic jam. I am also being cautious about maps that are too big. We're keeping maps basically around the same size scheme as the first game. Again, inflation, not necessarily a good thing, right? And often it's a bad thing, right? And that also, it makes for more innovative chapters where you have multiple spawn points, right? Okay. MD Yomi says 100 squads, give or take. Yeah, 100 squads. That's potentially 900 units in your army. Like, just how much free time do you have? Okay, G-Day Master, the only time it dropped was just, like the story missions. Yeah. I do think it dropped. It was like 8 or... It was only 8 for, like, the chapter where you're about to get Diana's holy weapon. And then it was 12 before that. Yeah, so it did kind of go up and down. We definitely would not go back down in this game. So, Storytelling, I gotta raise my hand on that one. Look at my I don't think I've ever done that. I only had as a many squads form that are managed at the current max amount I could fill. Right. DD Master, I know you talked about a job board, but I think it'd be cool if you could send squads out on missions where they weren't joining for the next chapter, then afterwards earn arena-like rewards. And that is exactly what that is. You got it. It's just an expedition board. It's things that you can do with squads that do not get deployed. If we have some kind of sneak peek into the next chapter before deploying, which a lot of people has asked for, so I think we should probably do it. You sneak peek and then you say, okay, well, I probably won't send this guy in, so we'll send them on the job board, right? And that can be cute things like fishing. So we can say that we have a fishing minigame, but we don't. So, or a go pet the cat. As a lonely cat over at Mrs. Terwilliger's house, go pet the cat, and then you get 100 gold. Take an entire heavily armored squad to do so. Python says, in one of your streams, you were talking about revamping the leadership in squads by having a certain number of squads of each size where you... Oh, yeah. We got rid of that. We're actually kind of coalescing back to closer to the way it is in Symphony of War 1. And this is actually germane to the subject I wanted to bring up today, which was has to do with leadership capacity. Excuse me. Where I think we're going to get rid of loyalty, because that's really hard to do for like mid and late game acquisitions of new units, where the loyalty decreases your capacity cost. Maybe you could do something else. I don't know, but... having that granularity of having a number out of 100 that determines your squad unit capacity. Of course, we are separating squad unit capacity from squad trait capacity, because we're going to have 2 stats for leadership, basically. Well, not just leadership, but 2 stats that are germane to leadership, which is leader and tactics. So the tactics will determine your squad trait capacity and affect a lot of other things, such as incoming healing effect and all that stuff. So yeah, we got rid of that idea. It's one of those things that sounds really easy to organize on paper, but I think it takes away some of the heart and soul of what you do in army management. Let's see. Carl Max 8123. One thing I would like is a forward base in some maps that, when captured, allows squads to be retreated and replaced with other squads. Would prevent crowded maps while still encouraging making extra squads at the player's discretion. So you're talking like if you're in the middle of a mid to late game, larger campaign style conquest map, and you capture an objective in the middle of the map, you'd like to be able to move your deploy location to that spot. I think that's great. I think that's a cool idea. I don't know how that would work. Of course, with all things, we have to powwow on that one, but kind of having a mobile rally point, I think, is pretty cool. Yeah. GD Master, I love joining in late and having the same ideas as already discussed. Indeed. Storytelling Vicky, so kind of like the side questing you could do with your squads in Brigandine. You'll have to tell us what that means. So, it sounds like it, yeah. David says, I usually find a squad composition I like and duplicate it so having many squads isn't actually taxing. Like I will have 3 to 4 Horse Archer squads, 3 to 3 Valkyrie tank squads, etc. Yeah. I gotcha. Fishing minigame equals YouTube series for sure, though, just saying. Is that something that gets a lot of eyeballs on social media? Okay, Storyteller Vicky, I made each of my squads unique-ish. For example, we had a gunnery squad under Lieutenant Musician. Tactics reminds me of Destiny of Emperor, but in that game, tactical points was used for special attacks and basically functioned like magic points. Ah, right. Meyer says, it's nice to have something that represents units that have stayed with the army since recruits start with a level based on chapter, but it doesn't have to be loyalty. Yes, it is definitely nice to reward the longevity. That's one thing that, like, how do you reward the longevity without punishing, like, if you want to get new stuff, right? Here's the big question, loyalty. So if that is completely removed from the way that it's done in Symphony of War 1, would that be unfun? Would that be unsatisfying and frustrating, or would that just be fine? Because it's kind of hard. So there's certain texts that will move the loyalty meter along, right? Like, so instead of getting disloyal mercenaries right away, they just start neutral, or they get totally loyal conscripts right away. So that was the way that we mitigated the mid to late game acquisition. I don't know if loyalty frustrated people. It's a good conversation to have. Like, were you frustrated that any units that you bought late in mid game were not going to be caught up in loyalty as your long-standing people were? Only classes, okay. All right, we'll answer that question. I'll catch up here. Python Product 3 Wind Force says, I have an idea for making dodge tanks be functionally different than other tanks. Each time you dodge, get nicked, your dodge chance decreases for the rest of the battle and make the dodge chance higher to compensate. That would make dodge tanks naturally synergize with doing ambushes and disarming enemies. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, with all these really good ideas, I'm just like saying they're good ideas. Whether or not they jive with our design is a different question. But as I'm mostly just complimenting the thoughtful idea. So, but we are going to have a couple of classes that are like specifically dodge tanks. So that's a thing. Bear with me here. I'm dealing with making old guy noises. Okay, GD Master, I'm assuming bazaars or similar things will be around. Is it too crazy to see a bulk troop where you could find basically a pre-made squad or like a ranger leader with 2 skirmishers? Whew. I'm not against it. Like in a different game or in a different battle mode, that would be pretty cool. I think we don't quite... I don't know if we want to, you know, have such a high velocity of resource acquisition as that, but yeah, cool idea. Carl Max, will there be any classes that specialize into being squad leaders, like generals? So, no, there is going to be a tier 4 class called a general, but it's not specifically a leader. That specialize, like anything can specialize into being a leader. But the general, like basically what makes it a general is that it's auras and buffs, basically. So it doesn't have to be the leader, right? But that's one of those design things that we stick to, is like things that are so specialized that like you feel like you have to do that, and so you will sometimes play unnaturally, similar to like if you were to want to, like, oh, I'm heading into a naval chapter, I'm gonna have to move all my stuff around now to make it navally optimized. We're not going to do that. We're not going to even like allow that. Like if you're doing optimization for your army as it is, you're not going to have to re-optimize it for naval stuff. Similarly, you're not going to have to re-optimize who your leaders are based on what class they are. It's just, are they a good leader based on their leadership stat, their tactic stat, and their traits, right? So, and your choice of what formation and artifacts to put on them. So. Storytell VK answers the question. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe pre-select your reinforcements so you can bring 45 meter pull if you have too many squads. That's cool. Pariah plays. I've heard there are going to be Arabian dancer style Baraktora maidens to recruit. So by the I switched the name of the Baraktora. That's not their species name anymore. They're called Sinarans now. Sinarra. Just a little flavor thing there. And Arabian dancer style Sonaran maidens. No, but there is one female Sonaran character. So so in Brigadine, The Legend of Runersia, it's a conquering game where you will have squadrons of heroes with monsters. You have those squads either defend or attack in normal flow, but on the side you can send them on side quests to attain. Oh yeah, very similar to that. It's not really a new idea in game design. It's just one that we want to add to ours. You know, I don't really mind speaking about these things that have been done for a long time, but just happen to slot in very well with our design, and that's one of them. So, Hillhome says, I can't speak to overall if fishing minigames add to it. I just am pretty good at Stardew Valley fishing, and it seems many people dislike that minigame. So it assumes me is a lot of them. Gotcha. Storyteller VK, though, while side questing, they obviously do not contribute to defense in the area, are unable to attack. Yeah, sure. Again, Devin says, did loyalty frustrate people? I loved it. Can you, Devin, can you expand on that, please? You loved it, and if it went away, what would you think? Hellham says, where's that Wayne RG2? Okay. I like the idea of loyalty system and its concept. The execution was a bit meh for me personally. I didn't love it or hate it. Loyalty was a bit grindy at the end game IMO. The frustrating thing with loyalty was the lack of clear progress being made and just how affinity affected it. Okay, so that's just conveyance, right? Not the system itself. Lurkermeyer, the linked systems of capacity and loyalty with both squad building artifacts is a bit funky, but it's fun. I don't know if things need to be too streamlined, right? Devin says, generic Lysanders. It is kind of what it is. Yeah, it's like a build your own Lysander. Yep. There's also a generic Narima, build your own Narima. Probably not with that awesome trait that she has, but with the same, battle versatility. So, Hillhome says, just please don't make generals force us into the phalanx nonsense of Ogre Battle 64. Mithrin probably knows what that means. I do not, but we will probably not force you into any kind of nonsense. GD Master says, of course, we're here just talking about our fantasies for the game. Honestly, I'm just glad to know one of my favorite tactics games gets a sequel. Right on, right on. Storyteller, Lieutenant Musician would be a sniper leader if it was viable or not. So yeah, sniper is a tier 4 class, actually. Worth a shot. Hilhelm, are you going to backpatch the Braktor name change stuff? You mean like change the first game? Nah. Let's see. Carlbex8123. What will be the maximum range when combining all possible terrain, tech, and unit trait buffs? I don't know. You mean like movement range? Gosh. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. 9, 10, 8. If you're talking about like movement points, attack range. There's a tier 4 archery class that has 4 base range, so that could go up to 5 with high ground. Of course, in this game, high ground has to attack non-high ground in order to get that range bonus. So in the first game, it was just be on high ground, and then no matter what you shoot at, you get the range bonus. So. I mean, that stands to reason, right? Right. So, Python practice. I remember you talking in the previous stream about the possibility of doubling or tripling up on units in a single tile. I really like this idea as it increases the ways you can customize your squad in the late game and could be used to combat the feeling of completion you tend to get around chapter 18 when you get full stacks. Yeah. So, that was the subject that we want to talk about today. Of course, with 10 minutes to go, we'll have to really slam through that. So we can talk about it again next time. But give us your opinion on stacking. So we're talking about things that you can do with your tier 3 units versus your tier 4 units. Because the tier 4 units, by design, will not be easy to accomplish. But maybe... So here's okay. First question for everybody here: do you expect, if there's tier 4 classes, do you expect to be able to make your entire army tier 4? Yes or no? And if no, then what proportion of your army do you expect to be tier 4? And if yes, if no, why? 3 out of 9. We got a no, we got a yes, we got a no. Specialists got a no, 3 out of 9 units. While you're doing that, here, Devin says, I like the idea that soldiers who have been with you were better team players than recruits. Still within the otherwise very potent tier 3 merc options. It wouldn't hurt the game or to remove it, but I would feel something was missing. I enjoyed sprinkling new troops into veteran troops to get them working. Right on, yeah. It would. I agree with you. It would feel like something was missing. Having your loyalty decrease your capacity cost by 20% is like enormous, right? So maybe it's just the scope of what the bonus was or the type of bonus, but to have no bonus for that does feel like it's missing something. I agree with that. So, we have a yes. I like the ability to hit the whole army. Endgame, I expect each squad to have 1 to 3 tier 4 units. I'd say yes, but endgame with 12 squads based on 1. Dark Deity, okay. I do not. I was expecting them to be like super mages and legends, something potent that you love to unlock, but you have to think about where they're best used. Okay, it should be grindable-ish in a sense, but really should only be a portion of your army, not every single person. Maybe a few in each squad. I vote yes, as you should be able to make armies how you want, but the cost of paying a lot of gold. Okay, having the option essentially would be nice, but it should not be required. So what if your natural playthrough, without cheesing or without quote-unquote grinding or being some kind of psychotically perfect player, you don't look up guides, you just play naturally, and you end up with, as what is often stated, about 3 out of 9 of your units as tier 4. And let's say that with all those aforementioned things that make Devon what he is, then you end up with, say, 6 out of 9 or 9 out of 9, right? So Each one should be a milestone on its own. Yeah. So I guess we'll have to talk about this more, because it's pretty split. Part of me, I know if you say you want your whole army to be T4, like, I completely get it. Like, you want to be able to, interact with the entire growth meta for all of your units that have tier 4. There's some units that don't even have it available. Like the beasts, they don't use that same system. The dragons, they don't use that same system. But the humanoids, which is most of the army, does use that system. So part of me says, yeah, you're going to want to actually interact with and make use of all of that growth meta. Now, in the scenario where you cannot get everybody tier 4, let's say 6 out of 9, but perhaps you can stack tier 3 units on the same tile. But of course, that only comes into play when you have so much leadership capacity that you're way over putting just 9 in a squad, or in the case of largest 6 in a squad. That really doesn't come into play until much later, right? So that's the question that we're kind of weighing, is like what to do about stacking units on a single tile. I personally like the idea that units that work best when in mass, which to me is gunners, firearms, things like that, that they would be easily able to stack on tiles, so you would have more. There was at one point I had an idea to just make tier 4 gunners just cost less capacity, and then they could stack, and then you could just have more of them. And then that would be their source of their strength, rather than making individuals really godlike, Mithrin asked, related question, show of hands thought of full loyal units as sort of a default viability and slot in a squad versus being a bonus. Each one have a hard lock on how many tier 4 can be. No, we don't want any hard locks. We want the freedom to dink around with your army. That's part of the fun. Big part of the fun, right? Storytell says, with 3 out of 9, I would be fine. I would probably not even get there. By 6 out of 9, I would question how much I have played the game. At 9 out of 9, I'm 100% sure they need to start a new run. Well, 9 out of 9, then there's nothing more to strive for. But, we're talking about actually doing things beyond once you reach tier 4, still yet to go. Still more things you can do with that unit, right? So, similar to how you can put a gilding on a unit in the first game, right? Leckermite up until the tech. First time chat from Vatic X. Hi. Hello, give us a follow. Leckermite says, up to the tech where you unlock the full loyal recruits. I saw it as a bonus. I would rotate loyal units as against disloyal works as a nice fit as I grew my army. Right. A whole army of T4 should only be possible with New Game Plus. Okay. Curse of Fate and Fire, had dinner. What I miss? A lot. There will be a VOD as usual. Leckermite says, stacking units is such a can of worms. Oh, yes, it is. You're right. Would they get double the attacks and HP, or just offer a bonus? Start time, 3 gunners attacked on one tile with tanks on each side. 18 gunner rain. Let's go. Yeah. Mathern says, let's actually put this in context. For those that want a large portion of their army to be T4 or all of them, do you just not like the idea of select few units being head and shoulders of the rest, or you're not like potentially having your avenue of growth cut off? Well, if I were to answer that question as a player, I would definitely not care too much about the head and shoulders thing, but I would feel like, if some units are hamstrung in their ultimate potential, then that would feel bothersome to me. It would feel annoying to me. I would want all of the units that I put in there to be able to, as I've been saying, interact with the entire growth meta. So that's a thing. Of course, we're talking about endgame, like right when you reach the last few chapters. You've already done 30 hours of gameplay up until that point. So that gameplay is very relevant, where you don't necessarily have to have all of your tier 4s, right? So, Yeah, Pariah says I wouldn't like my avenue for growth. Yeah, that's kind of what I said. Yeah, Python. I'd like to have stacking for all units. Maybe have tier 4, cost more leadership to stack. Sure. Devin says a big part of what I like about T3 and 4 mixed army is the visual variety. Okay, yeah, can see that. Storytell. I also really do not like my avenue of growth being cut off. Yeah, I get that. But I simultaneously also see the other side, which makes it odd for me. Lurkermeyer says, it kind of depends on if tier 4 is just better or more like a specific specialization. Oh yeah, don't worry about the just better thing. We're always going to try and find some way of making it interesting rather than just like higher stats. But there are some situations where it's taking what you do at tier 3, which is already pretty specialized, and making it even better at that one specialization. Some tier 3 upgrades are a increase in versatility, so you take on a new role. Some tier 4 upgrades are the opposite, where you are consolidating your roles into a more compact skill set, right? So it really depends. It's kind of all over the place, and that's what I like. I do not like homogenized, samey progression systems. I like it if it's a little bit of a crapshoot. I think that's what makes it fun, interesting, and it's a little bit of discovery happening there, right? So, let's see. Storytell. As for the tier 4, I want those units to feel like they are above the rest in the sense that my first tier 4s would be my commanding units. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, when you, for example, if you go from the champion to the gladiator, boy, that's going to feel like a massive glow up because he's got the attack of the Zweihander and the champion in one. So the first attack he does is the Zweihander slash sideswipe, and then he does another single target hit on the same middle target that he hit. So you're combining the champion and the Zweihander into one ultra powerful heavy infantry swordsman. It's going to feel pretty cool, right? So. And that's where a lot of the glow up happens in a different or a better skill, right? So not like a huge increase in stats, but like that better skill set. So bear in mind, tier does not affect growth. Are you sure? Are you sure about that, Devin? Another question posed: how do you guys feel about merits? Keeping that in mind. Oh, the proof of merit to guild. Yeah, nice. If tier 4 is a super unit, that's like an G plus in Civ War 1, where you have a full unit of story character doppelgangers. Yeah, 9 Dianas, right? I think they were neat. It gave a final strive to push forward with your tier 3 units. Yes. I completely agree. If you get to your last class, I think you're just done forever. It's like, oh, really? You want to like use that person and then see the progress from using that person, I remember hearing about POMs, Proof of Merits, being only available for Tier 3 units in sow2, whereas they were also available for the rare Tier 4 units in sow1. That's just an organizational thing. Don't worry about that. Lurkermeyer says, Proof of Merits are fun, kind of reward for deciding how to finish a unit. Yeah. Lurkermeyer, Tier 4 items might replace that feeling, though. Not necessarily. Slice Coop 25 says, wouldn't Tier 4 fall into the pitfall FE Engage has with just equip the best rings and the best guys? I don't know. I think that's a so say you do that. Okay, if you have one squad where you stack your tier 4s into it, then you have one squad that has tier 4s, right? And our map design does not lend itself to one squad hero clearing the game. It just doesn't. Of course, there's swarming bonuses, and then there's split objectives, and there's time objectives, and things like that. There's time pressure a lot of the times. So, it's not a bad thing, really, in my opinion. Plus, you're going to find more items over time. You're going to get more tier 4 classes, and they're just not going to be the classes that you want in that squad. They're not going to fit in that squad. So, I think at worst, it's a temporary moment where that one squad is actually super powerful, but then everyone else will catch up, including the enemies. So, not a big pitfall. It's not something to worry about, but it's a good question. let's see. Tier 4 should be like Merit, where you can have a few squads full of T4 if you want, but for most of your army, they will be somewhat sparse. Python Product says, I have a quick question for stacking. Would they die incrementally, like undead, or simultaneously? The way we were planning it, they would die incrementally. But they would work a little bit different like undead, but not sure. We still have to talk about it more. Carl Max says, will the story have a set amount of tier 4 items, or can they be purchased or earned in arenas? The tier 4 items can be acquired in a variety of ways, and there will definitely not be a set amount, for sure. There is a technically unlimited amount of them that you can get. Practically speaking, no, you're not going to get an unlimited amount, right? There's going to be probably an average that you get, right? And then we're going to have ways for you to change which one you get. So you can synthesize it or exchange it into something else, right? So, because it's not the same tier for upgrade item for each class. Will the story have been... Okay, the morale system punishes building too high. Python says, talking about proof of merit, will it be more than stat buffs in sow2, or will you get something else, like extra trait slots? So what we want to do... Python, you have great ideas. Keep coming to these streams. What we want to do, because you're kind of reading our mind on this, is probably offer more than one option for how to put that final capstone, rather than just gilding. So yeah, don't know exactly what they would be, but yeah, we definitely want there to be like, okay, you go to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and then you go all the way to the end of 4, and now you have 2 or 3 choices on how to capstone that unit, and then it's finally done, right? So I think there's like no downside to that, except I have to do a lot more work in changing the color of your, because if you have 3 choices, then you wouldn't want them all to look gold. Like maybe one of them looks gold and then the other one looks platinum or whatever, right? So I have to do more work making graphics, but that's okay. I do like it when games have a technically unlimited amount, yeah. Because it gives me the feeling that I have said technically unlimited amount, which is nice. Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you feel and you know that it's like hard limited, that is an icky feeling, right? So, if each T4 class have its own item, or will each be... so we settled on grouped up. So there's 27 humanoid tier 4 classes, and there's 12 upgrade items, and so there's anywhere between, sometimes a couple of times it's just 1, but it's anywhere between 2 and 4 units that are upgraded with a single tier 4 class item. So if you can picture thematically similar classes like the gladiator and the upgraded the paladin, both heavy infantry attackers, they would use the same upgrade item, that sort of thing. Okay. Well, we're past our time here. One last comment here. Honestly, developing a unit is the huge part of the fun of the game, but the scope of the army is so big by the end that gilding some units so they can no longer grow keeps that growth manageable. Yeah, growing the units is definitely... Yeah, I find that the most fun is as you're growing, and as you're customizing, and as you're changing classes, and that's the fun part, right? So, okay, let us wrap it up here. I will, of course, put the VOD on YouTube. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Your company is very appreciated. Give us a follow on Twitch and probably also on YouTube, because I might switch to YouTube at some point instead of being on Twitch and just do YouTube, live streaming. And stay in our Discord, and we will see you in 2 weeks from now, unless something goes sideways. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and good night.